Welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're diving into self-discovery. We'll be using Self Journey as our guide.
Ah, yes.
This fascinating collection of articles blending personal experiences with, philosophy, psychology, even a bit of spirituality.
Yeah.
We're here to break it all down, help you understand the key concepts, and maybe even encourage you to embark on your own journey of self-exploration.
I like to think of it as a roadmap to your inner world.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. A roadmap. I like that.
Yeah.
Self Journey kicks off with this powerful quote from Socrates. To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. It really sets the tone for everything we're going to discuss.
Yeah, it makes you realize just how crucial self-knowledge is. I mean, it's really the foundation for a fulfilling life, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the text dives into these two realms of human existence.
Yeah.
The physical, like our bodies,
Right.
and the ideal, representing our soul.
Yeah, it's all about that balance between the two.
Exactly. And Self Journey really stresses that truly knowing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the key to happiness. It even uses this model called the Johari window to sort of illustrate these different aspects of ourselves. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, yeah. The Johari window, that's a classic tool for self-awareness. It's a really cool way to visualize. You know there are things you know about yourself that others also see, things you keep hidden, things others see that you might not be aware of, and then there's a whole area of the unknown.
Yeah.
Stuff that neither you nor anyone else has discovered about you yet.
It really is mind-blowing when you think about it, like all these hidden parts of ourselves. And the author really drives home the point that not knowing yourself, it can cause all sorts of problems in your relationships, at work, even your social life. They share this story about feeling like a robot in their job before they finally discovered their true passion.
It's a good reminder that self-awareness isn't just some, abstract idea. It has very real consequences in our lives.
Right. And Self Journey breaks self-awareness down into three main elements: self-esteem, self-worth, and self-opinion. They argue that understanding each of these is essential for, our well-being.
Yeah, think of self-esteem as how you feel about yourself, self-worth as your inherent value, and self-opinion as how you describe yourself to others.
Like each piece contributes to the bigger picture of who we are.
Precisely. And sometimes those pieces don't quite fit together as we'd like, which is where, I guess, the self-journey comes in.
So true. Now, Self Journey then explores some pretty fascinating philosophical and psychological frameworks. To help understand this whole journey, we're going to dive into those next. Starting with Erich Fromm, Carl Jung, and Abraham Maslow. Ready for some mind-expanding concepts?
Let's get to it. This is where it gets really interesting. Welcome back to your deep dive into self-discovery. We spent the last part talking about, the importance of knowing yourself. Even explored that Johari window a bit.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Now we're going to take a look at this self-journey through the eyes of some really influential thinkers. Erich Fromm.
Carl Jung.
Yeah.
And Abraham Maslow.
I love this part. I'm fascinated by how all these different perspectives, they can help us understand ourselves in a more complete way.
Absolutely.
Like self-journey starts with Fromm's concept of escape from freedom.
Right.
And that one really hit home for me. It's like we all want freedom, but the responsibility that comes with it can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, for sure. It's a very common human experience.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's often easier to just go with the flow. Let other people make the decisions.
Right.
Fromm actually says that we use three main mechanisms to avoid that, the burden of freedom.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's authoritarianism, where we submit to like a powerful authority figure.
Right.
Or an ideology.
Right. Makes sense.
Then there's destructiveness, which can manifest as, lashing out at the world. Or even at ourselves.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to just get rid of the source of our anxiety.
Like eliminate it completely. Yeah. And the third mechanism is automaton conformity, where we just kind of blend in, adopt the prevailing beliefs and behaviors without really questioning them.
We become like robots, just going through the motions.
Exactly. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit to Carl Jung.
Okay.
Now, his ideas are really prominent in Self Journey.
Yes.
He had some truly mind-boggling theories about the human psyche.
I mean, his concept of the collective unconscious still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like it's this hidden reservoir of shared memories and archetypes that connects us all.
It's a wild concept, isn't it? But to understand the collective unconscious, it helps to first look at Jung's personality structure model, which has three main parts.
Okay.
Ego,
Okay.
personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious.
All right. Break those down for me.
So the ego is basically like the conscious part of ourselves, the I that we identify with. It's
Right.
how we see the world, interact with others. Then there's the personal unconscious, which stores all of our repressed memories, thoughts, experiences, the stuff we've kind of pushed down out of our awareness.
Like our own personal shadow world, unique to each of us.
Exactly. And then we've got the collective unconscious, which is like this, vast universal library full of these archetypes and symbols that we all share as humans.
Self-journey uses a really great example to explain Jung's archetypes. Like imagine generations and generations of people witnessing the sun, its power, its life-giving energy.
Yeah.
Over time, those shared experiences would give rise to the archetype of the sun god.
Yeah.
This universal pattern of thought, present in the collective unconscious.
You see it reflected in myths and religions all over the world.
Right.
It's amazing how these archetypes come out of our shared human experience.
It really makes you wonder what other archetypes are hidden in our collective unconscious, shaping how we view the world.
Yeah, and Jung also talks about this thing called the persona. It's like the social mask we wear to fit in.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, how we adapt to different situations, play different roles.
Right.
But Jung warns us about becoming too attached to our persona. We risk losing touch with our true selves.
Right.
And feeling unfulfilled.
Yeah, Self-Journey. The author actually shares a pretty relatable story about their own struggle with, social conformity. They talk about feeling this pressure to fit in, to suppress their introverted side before they finally embrace their true self.
Right. It's a good reminder that authenticity is key to living a fulfilling life.
Okay, now what about Jung's idea of the shadow?
Yeah.
That was always fascinating to me. It's like the darker, more hidden side of our personality.
Yeah, the shadow. It includes all those repressed instincts and desires, negative traits, the stuff we consider unacceptable or not compatible with how we see ourselves.
So it's all the things we try to hide from ourselves and others.
Right. But Jung says that trying to just suppress the shadow, it only makes it stronger. We need to acknowledge it, bring it into our conscious awareness.
Otherwise, it can come out in unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
Right, like projection.
Yes.
Where we see our own flaws in other people.
Exactly. It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
That stops us from taking responsibility for our own shadow.
Oh, wow. Jung's ideas are so insightful when it comes to understanding how complex we are.
They really do add a whole new dimension to the self-journey. Now, self-journey then switches gears to talk about Abraham Maslow and his famous hierarchy of needs, which is a totally different way to look at this process.
Right.
Maslow believed that human needs are structured like a pyramid, with basic physiological needs at the bottom and self-actualization at the top.
So you have to take care of those lower level needs like food, water, shelter, safety, before you can even think about moving up to things like love and belonging, esteem.
Exactly. And right at the peak of the pyramid is self-actualization, the realization of your full potential.
Right, but Maslow said that very few people actually reach that level. Why do you think that is?
Well, many of us get stuck at those lower levels, struggling to meet basic needs or looking for validation from others.
So we're always striving for something, but never quite getting there. What does Self-Journey say about people who are self-actualized?
It describes them as having certain characteristics, like acceptance of themselves and others, spontaneity, they're problem-centered, and they enjoy solitude.
Sounds like they've reached this level of inner peace and fulfillment that most of us can only dream of.
Right.
And the author actually shares their own story about overcoming what they call the Jonah complex, which is the fear of success.
Wow.
To finally pursue their passion for writing, it really shows how much courage it takes to go after self-actualization.
It's really inspiring to see someone embrace their full potential.
Absolutely. And Self-Journey also talks about what gets in the way of self-actualization, pointing out how family dynamics and societal pressures can hold us back.
Yeah, think about it. If you grew up in an environment where your needs weren't met, you might have insecurities that prevent you from pursuing your dreams.
Or if you're constantly being told what you should be doing, you might lose sight of what you actually value and what you truly want. It's like you're living someone else's life.
Exactly. The book emphasizes that the path to self-actualization, it's different for everyone. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
So it's about finding what works for you, accepting your flaws, and always trying to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's an ongoing process of growth and discovery. And in the next part, we're going to delve into the specific phases of the self-journey, as outlined in Self-Journey, along with some practical tools that can guide you along the way.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the basics of self-discovery to those mind-blowing ideas from Jung and Maslow. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of the self-journey process, as described in Self-Journey.
Yeah, it's not always a walk in the park, but it is so rewarding.
Right.
Self-Journey calls it a journey of finding yourself, which leads to, well, a deeper understanding of what life really means to you. It can be seriously transformative.
And it often starts with a traumatic experience, right? Something that really shakes you up and forces you to look at everything in a new light.
Yeah, it could be like a major loss or a failure, maybe even just a sudden realization that you're not on the right path. Trauma can be a catalyst for some serious introspection. It forces you to look inside and grapple with some tough questions. Who are you? What do you want out of life? That kind of thing.
Self-Journey actually breaks the process down into 4 distinct phases: trauma, introspection, repentance, and change. So first, we've got that initial shock of the trauma phase. Really disrupts your sense of self, makes you hit the pause button.
Then comes the introspection phase, where the real work begins. This is where you really dig into your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Maybe you start journaling, try meditation, even consider therapy to gain more clarity.
It's like peeling back the layers, getting to the core of who you are. Then we have the repentance phase, and I really appreciate how Self-Journey emphasizes that it's not about guilt or shame. It's not a religious thing.
Right. It's more about acknowledging the choices and actions that have led you to where you are, and making a conscious decision to make a change.
It's about owning your past and committing to growth. And that leads to the change phase, where you actually put those insights into action, make real shifts in your life.
This phase can be tough because it often means stepping outside your comfort zone. But it's the most rewarding because you end up living a more authentic and fulfilling life.
One thing that really stood out to me in Self-Journey was how the Islamic perspective views age 40. It's considered a turning point, a time for deep introspection and change.
It's interesting how that lines up with Jung's idea of midlife being a crucial time for self-discovery. Lots of cultures see this period as a time for profound personal growth.
Self-Journey also brings up the concept of muhasabah, which means self-reflection, a powerful tool for self-improvement and spiritual growth.
Yeah, it encourages you to regularly check in with yourself. Make sure your actions and intentions align with your values and what you want to achieve. Could be something as simple as taking a few minutes every day to think about your thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah, it's about making space for that self-awareness and choosing to do things that support your growth. And speaking of tools, Self-Journey really highlights journaling, meditation, and mindfulness as key practices. Have you found those helpful?
Absolutely. Journaling is a game changer. It helps you process your emotions, dig into your thoughts, and track your progress. It's like having a conversation with yourself, but on paper.
I love that. And meditation brings a sense of inner peace and stillness. So valuable in today's world. It gives you space for clarity and insight.
And then you've got mindfulness. Being present in the moment, paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It's about observing your experience without getting totally swept away by it.
These tools can be so helpful in managing things like stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. They ground you and give you perspective.
For sure. And Self-Journey actually dedicates a good chunk to the ideas of self-love and mindfulness as paths to a more fulfilling life.
It's interesting how those two concepts are so interconnected.
Right.
Self-love is about accepting yourself completely, flaws and all, knowing your inherent worth and treating yourself with kindness and compassion.
It's important to clarify, we're not talking about ego or narcissism here.
Right.
Self-Journey makes that distinction clear. It actually highlights Eric Fromm's view that true self-love makes you care about the well-being of others. It's expansive, not selfish.
When you truly love yourself, you're more likely to extend that love to others. We're all in this together, right?
Exactly. The text even offers some practical ways to work on self-love. Accepting your flaws, letting go of self-hatred and forgiving others, taking responsibility for your life, and making choices based on your needs, not just fleeting desires.
It's a practice, not a one-time thing. Being mindful of your thoughts, challenging that negative self-talk, and making choices that nourish your mind, body, and soul.
And mindfulness, which, remember, is all about being present in the moment. Paying attention without judging. It's like creating space between your thoughts and your reactions, helping you respond to challenges in a more intentional way.
Self-Journey even acknowledges Jon Kabat-Zinn, who really brought mindfulness into mainstream Western psychology. He developed mindfulness-based stress reduction, which has helped so many people deal with stress, chronic pain, anxiety.
Self-Journey lays out these 6 key principles of mindfulness. Non-judgmental, patience, beginner's mind, trust, non-striving, acceptance, and letting go. They encourage a gentle, compassionate approach to the practice.
It's not about perfection, but about cultivating awareness without beating yourself up.
And the book gives you these practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life. Things like creative hobbies, nature walks, or just bringing focused attention to everyday tasks.
Bringing that presence to everything, whether you're doing the dishes, eating a meal, or just walking to work.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into self-journey, let's revisit the key takeaways. Knowing yourself is an ongoing journey, not a destination. It's all about evolving and growing.
We all have the potential to become self-actualized, but it takes effort, commitment, and facing those obstacles head on.
And tools like mindfulness, self-love, and muhasabah can be incredible allies on this journey. They help us stay grounded, connected to ourselves, and true to who we are.
Self-journey leaves us with this thought-provoking question. Based on what we've discussed today, what's one small step you can take this week to connect more deeply with yourself?
Could be starting a journal, trying a short meditation, taking a few moments each day for quiet reflection. So many possibilities.
Self-discovery is an adventure. It's unique to each individual. Embrace the journey, be kind to yourself, and enjoy uncovering the incredible potential within you.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into self-journey. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep diving deep.